Hello, thanks for joining and welcome to MCL 1247, otherwise known as Manage Public Cloud with CloudHealth and vRealize. I'm going to take a look at what we can do with our public cloud deployments within CloudHealth and vRealize, and a little bit around the integrations we can get between the two of them. I am Tim George. I'm also joined today by Srivatsu Upadhyay, and we'll go ahead and get started after a couple quick housekeeping items here. First thing, just a quick disclaimer. I don't believe that any of the features or functions we're going to be looking at today are currently still under development, but we still have to put the disclaimer up anyway. A couple quick shout outs here. There are some sessions we can sign up for that will have a QR code at the end. We'll get you some cool VMware swag. So here are the sessions you can sign up for that will have that QR code at the end. Without further ado, let's jump into a couple quick slides here before we go ahead and show off some demos. The first slide here we're talking about is developing a consistent cloud operating model. Right, we want to deliver that consistent cloud operating model across our private, hybrid, edge, and public clouds. This cloud operating model should be able to level up our existing virtual environments to a fully functioning self-service cloud, and bring consistency in delivery, operations, and governance to multi-clouds. You need to incorporate a set of processes that can efficiently extend these capabilities to additional environments through some sort of repeatable, extensible processes. So the first pillar here we have on the left is all about acceleration, talking about speed of service delivery. We want to help our environments to remove anything in the way which is slowing our environments down. And that really kind of comes from increased automation or automation we can do to really optimize that speed and agility. Second pillar would be optimizing our operations. So we need to be able to get our services out there faster. We need to optimize everything with improved operations. And then thirdly, looking at governance and control. If we need a higher order of control, we need to provide across our entire real estate. So we need to have some sort of a team that is tasked with the responsibility of developing a framework for the business's cloud operations, right? So the question becomes, how do we develop this cloud operating model? And we want to start looking at a few different things here first. We want to make sure that no matter where our data is coming from, be that customer managed, VMware managed, like VMC on AWS, partner managed or hyperscaler managed like AVS or GCVE, or in any sort of public cloud deployments like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. And we want to be able to make sure we're also delivering our services, whether that be through virtual machines, containers, Kubernetes, or our native public cloud services. So really we're looking today at not the entire real estate, but really looking through at vRealize suite as well as CloudHealth. And we want to make sure we can get that integrations kind of going both ways, and we'll talk about that as we go a little further. Right, we have our management pack for CloudHealth and vRealize operations, as well as the vRealize operations integration for CloudHealth as well. So jumping in, let's talk about a little bit around our core operations of each of these first, and how we can get those integrated. So the first being our vRealize core operations, which is going to be, of course, our visibility, monitoring, remediation, as well as planning, forecasting, migration. There is capacity and cost optimization, as well as performance optimization, and then to our configuration and compliance. And it's very similar on the CloudHealth side, only we're talking, instead of VMware Cloud on the left, we're talking on our public clouds on the right. And then we want to be able to get some of those costs going back and forth, so we can really get that single source of truth. We can get our cost optimization, whether that be on VMware clouds or public clouds, as well as helping with our planning and forecasting and migration. And we can really then get that to that multi-cloud visibility, our health monitoring, and intelligent remediation. With these integrations, we can get our cloud agnostic service brokering automation, right? With VRA, we can get those deployments from public cloud and really kind of take a look at those a little closer. What that's going to help us do then is get us to this sort of multi-cloud security and compliance, as well as multi-cloud financial management, and really help us build out this multi-cloud a unified multi-cloud cost solution. And that's kind of the next part we're talking about here. So let's briefly discuss where we want our data to come from and what parts we want to use depending on where we want to get our costs from here. If we're using anything public cloud-wise, it's AWS, Azure, GCP, or Oracle Cloud, we want to go ahead and use CloudHealth then for all of our costing and our VRA deployments. If we are getting anything from private clouds or from hybrid clouds like VMC on AWS or AVS, GCVE, we want to go ahead and use vRealize Operations or vRealize Operations Cloud in combination with VRA to then get all our costs there. Now, if we, on the top part here, if we have CloudHealth, of course, we have the management pack for CloudHealth into vRealize Operations, so we can pull all of that public cloud costing data from CloudHealth to vRealize Operations to give that unified cost for operations. And on the bottom, we have then going the other direction from vRealize Operations to CloudHealth using the new vRealize Operations integration for CloudHealth. And so that's what is new at the moment, going to be sending all of our costs from vRealize Operations to CloudHealth. Now, just touching on that integration here, we're going to take all of the data from vRealize Operations, all of your vCenter accounts, and it's going to sync up with CloudHealth directly. So we won't have to kind of separate those out. It will automatically sync with CloudHealth. Now we also get to use all of the same features we have in CloudHealth as well, be that Flex orgs or perspectives. And we can use that then on top of our private cloud data as well as the data from vRealize Operations. And we can then use our data and use vRealize Operations as our single source of truth for all of our VMware cloud data as well. So this also leads into a roadmap here for many other use cases. This is the first iteration, but I'm sure there'll be many more. I can imagine many different things we can use here for the future. Just briefly on how this is going to, or how this works. And it doesn't matter if we're using on-premises or using vRealize Operations Cloud, with vRealize Operations Cloud being the top or the blue check mark, and vRealize Operations on-premises being the green check mark. All we need is an API key for this integration to work, and then the data will go directly into those APIs or the ingestion APIs within CloudHealth. It will go through the processing pipelines and then either to the asset metrics or analytics store, and then directly to the web app so that we can be visible to us as the users. So I want to go ahead and jump in and just show a few things in vRealize Operations before I turn it over to Shri, who can show us what everything looks like in CloudHealth. Jumping into our vRealize Operations Cloud, we're going to start here at the repository because I want to show that we do have the vRealize Operations Management Pack for CloudHealth installed, and we also have the vRealize Operations integration for CloudHealth installed. And if we jump into that, we can see the only thing we need to do here is to select our collector and then add our credential, which only requires an API key. So that's the only thing we need to do to get that integration set up. We can start sending our costs directly to CloudHealth from that, directly from vRealize Operations. So jumping into our dashboards, we can start here and we can look at all of the different dashboards just for AWS, for example. So all of our public clouds, dashboards for public cloud. Of course, we'd have some for Azure or for GCP as well. We're going to start here at this AWS cost overview because this is what's coming in from CloudHealth using that management pack for CloudHealth. And so we can start looking at our overall total cost trend, our EC2 instances, the trend of those over time. We can break that further if we don't want to just look at our total costs. We can look at that by account and get our trend by account. We can break that down by regions and get our region costs, or we could break that down by services if we wanted to see individual services and get the trend for those individual services as well. And as I mentioned, we can also do this the same with Azure or GCP. We're just using AWS as our example here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Shri now. So Shri can show us a little bit on the CloudHealth side and what this looks like once we've got our integration configured on the CloudHealth side of things. So Shri, take it away.
Thanks, Tim. As a part of next demonstration, I'll be covering vRealize Automation Cloud Assembly, as well as CloudHealth. So let's first look at Cloud Assembly. Cloud Assembly is a cloud-based service that you can use to create and deploy virtual machines, applications, and services to your cloud infrastructure. As a cloud admin, you can leverage one of these deployments, which are based off of the designs that you have created previously. In the design phase, you leverage cloud templates, which you can create from scratch. I have one existing one which I'm going to leverage. Over here, I've created a cloud network. I have a front-end virtual machine. I have a MySQL database, which I have deployed, and a load generator. The power of vRealize Cloud Assembly is that you can also leverage infrastructure as code when it comes to building all of these templates. So towards my right, you can see the entire code that has been used to construct this. I can add additional parameters if I would like to, like I've added tags over here, which are then used by CloudHealth, which I'll show in the next part of demonstration, to help you with chargeback and showback. You can also add your own custom cloud config if you need for all of these virtual machines. You all can also see that there are a lot of cloud agnostic resources that are available, which you can easily drag and drop over here. There are standard resources from AWS, which are popular, available for you to use in EC2 instances, volumes, S3 buckets, Redshift cluster, and others. And once you have created this, you can version it, you can create your own version, or you can deploy this particular application. Once the application is deployed, it will show up under your deployments. So I'm going to open one of the deployments, which is Moat shopping cart demo. You can see this was the template that we used earlier. We have all the information regarding the EC2 instance available towards the right. I can also see the history of requests that were taken on this particular deployment. So when were these resources created and when was the resource completion done? And not just that, I can also view the price of this deployment, the ongoing cost of this deployment. And all of this cost is obtained from the integration with CloudHealth. So once you integrate with CloudHealth, CloudHealth will provide you the ongoing cost within vRealize automation. So you can see here for the month of September till now, it is $60. And it's very easy to set up this integration, right? I can come here to infrastructure and I can go to integrations and I have a Cloud Health integration. I can simply add that. You can open this and over here, all you need is an API key from Cloud Health and you can then save this. Once you do that, Cloud Assembly will start getting the data for ongoing deployments within your public cloud environment. And now I'll show you the integrations on the Cloud Health side. So the data that we can bring from vRealize automation and vRealize operations into Cloud Health. So first, let me show you the vRealize automation portion. So over here, you're looking at our AWS dashboard and you can see our current cost for the month, last month's cost, as well as the projected cost. And I can see the cost history by different services within my AWS environment. So you can see I have CloudWatch, I have Amazon Card Duty, CloudTrail, and other services. And we can see the total cost for all of these services. I can go and look at further details of this particular cost history report. So when I come in here, now I can change the category from service items to an application or cost center or a vRealize automation perspective. Perspectives within Cloud Health are indicated by this icon P. And a perspective is a business grouping of your different cloud resources. So now, if I choose the vRealize automation perspective, you'll see all of these different costs for the applications that were deployed using VRA, right? So if I hover over this red color bar, you can see there is an application which was deployed using VRA called my Moad RDS. There are other applications, shopping cart application, testing application, and which have been deployed using VRA. And not just that, you can also see the cost for all of these particular deployments. I can come down here and look at the same cost in the form of a table. So these could be those individual costs. And if I click on any one of these, let's say I want to look at Cloud Health AWS deployment 2, and I want to look at why I was charged $51 in that specific month. So if I click on this, you'll now see individual line items. Right? Cloud Health has gathered all of the line items by looking at your billing data and has mapped them to this specific application and deployment. And this will show you the exact cost breakdown. Right? You can see here Amazon EC2 instances is costing me $25. You can see it's a T2 medium. And I can view further details of this particular machine as well. Can see the tags, so I can just verify, okay, this belongs to cost center engineering. And I also have the blueprint IDs for this specific deployment from VRA. So we're getting all that data as well. And Cloud will also send this costing data to vRealize automation. So once you've deployed the application, so you can see the ongoing costs of those apps in vRealize automation as well. You have the ability to download this, all of this data as PNG or download it as CSV, and then use it within your third-party system if you'd like to. You can also subscribe to these reports. So I can create a subscription where I can say, I want this particular report. Let's say I'm going to call it demo cost history report. And I want this particular report to be sent to me on a particular cadence. So I can choose a monthly cadence, weekly cadence, and I can choose, let's say I'm choosing weekly and I want to do it on Mondays and Thursdays. And I want the visualization and CSV sent to my email address. Okay, so I can subscribe to this, or I can add additional email addresses if I would like to. So now let's look at the data center side of things. So on the data center side, as soon as I come to this dashboard, you'll see the total number of machines, total number of cores, and the memory consumption across your vSphere infrastructure. And we also see the cost driver history report and machine cost by month and different operating system that we're using. And the setup portion is pretty easy. I can just come in here, look at my vRealize operations, get a key from Cloud Health and add it to vRops. And once I do that, I can see the status of how my instance have been configured. And the nice thing is that I don't have to individually onboard all of my vCenters. Cloud Health automatically pulls all of this information from vRealize operations, making one step easier for you in using the combined integration. Now, once we have this, we can go and look at all of our different assets. So let's say I want to look at all of my data centers. So I can click on this. I can see okay, there are 6 data centers that I've onboarded. I can also look at individual clusters or even hosts. So if I come in here, I can now see all of the different hosts that I have within my environment, right? And how much memory they are using. And if we have a cost associated with them, it shows particular cost for those individual hosts as well. Now, by leveraging all of this data, Cloud Health builds cost history report for you that you can use to analyze the cost. So here, now I'm looking at cost based on different vCenters that were onboarded. Let's say I want to change the category, and I want to look at all the costs based on a particular cost center instead. So I'll make that modification, and now I can see in the month of July, I had my operations cost center a cost of $712 and engineering of almost $400. Right? So that helps me understand how my different cost centers or different projects or apps are using this. Like all other features within the Cloud Health platform, you have the ability to create your own perspectives. You can change the category to anything that suits you. So let's say I want to look at all of the costs based on specific hosts. I can change that and now I can get specific host-based cost. Similar to the previous report we saw, you can save the PNG or you can export this particular chart in the form of CSV and use it in other platforms. We also have a cost driver history report. So the cost driver history report, as the name suggests, looks at different aspects that are contributing to your costs. This could be license, networking, hardware, software, maintenance, and others, which you can come here and look at it in the form of table as well. We also have performance as well as machine and memory metrics, which we again import from vRealize operations along with all of the data. And finally, you can build guardrails around this. So you can set up your own governance. So let's say I come in here, I can create my own policy. And these policies can span across multiple cloud environments. So that's the power within the Cloud Health platform. So let's say I want to track all of the resources or virtual machines whose costs are more than $50 for a month, right? Virtual machine more than $50. And I want to send an email or alert the user. I can restrict all of these to a specific cost center or an application. So that's the power of Cloud Health Engine. So I can say, okay, I want to run all of my policies or specific policies only for these groups. So let's say we do that for our EC2 instance, right? I can come in here and say add a condition. I want to track the cost and I want to be alerted whenever the cost is more than 50. I can save the condition. Now I can add an action, right? I can send an email, start, stop the EC2 instance, or run a custom Lambda function as well that has my proprietary logic. Or I can also add another block. So let's say now I also want to track my on-prem virtual machine costs, right? So if I add machines, I can come in here and I can say I want to track cost. So I want to track, okay, the monthly cost for a machine is greater than $50. Same like we did for AWS. And again, I can add a specific action to this as well. Let's say I just want to send an email, right? So I can come in here now, specify the cost center as well. Let's say I want to run for engineering, I want to track EC2 instance cost. For operations teams, I want to track the data center virtual machine cost. So I can really customize and make it very granular, right? And build this guardrail. So now this is one policy that is tracking both your on-prem environments as well as your public cloud environment. So that's the power of the policy engine within CloudHub. Now, once you save this particular policy, CloudHub will start monitoring this for you and alert you whenever there's a violation of the policy that is occurring. That's all for today's demo. Thank you for joining us. Please take your survey. This really helps us improve our content, and your feedback is valuable to us. Thank you.